So we are on Yud Amar Aleph, 10a, 10a2, no, 10a3, the beginning of 10a3. Ad matai yoshvim b'din. We just said that a judge does not need to spend his whole day in court. He has to spend some of his time, like we said, teaching Torah, the masses, besides being in court. So the question is, until what time do they have responsibility, or they should be sitting in the court and judging cases, judging situations that come up to them? What does the Gemara say? Now, the Gemara says, Amar Rav Sheshet Adzman Suda, until the time of time to eat. Meaning, as long as it's not time to eat breakfast, so to speak, it's not time to eat breakfast, they should be in court. But once the time of breakfast has, meaning they call it the main meal, which is the sixth hour in the day. The sixth hour would mean, let's say, it means the beginning of the whole sixth hour. Let's say if a day starts at 6 a.m. and goes to 6 p.m., that type of day. So the sixth hour will be from 11 a.m. to 12 is the sixth hour, right? That's the beginning of the sixth hour begins at 11 a.m. Just like the last hour of the day begins, the first minute of the last hour. Right? You're in the 24th. You hit the 24th hour of the day. It's not yet the 24th hour, but you're in the 24th hour. Once you got 23 hours plus a little bit, now you're in the 24th hour. So you're in the sixth hour after 5 hours. So 11, 11:01 or 11 plus, you're already in the sixth hour of the day. That is the time to eat. That's the time to eat, and that's when they're able to close the court and go to eat, and then do whatever other responsibilities they have. This is the time the Gemara is going to say the sixth hour of the day is the time that the Torah scholars eat. Workers, other people will eat even earlier. We'll see. They don't wait till the sixth hour into the day, but Torah scholars do. So if you're a judge, you're a Torah scholar, and therefore that's the time that you should go ahead. If you want to send to the group, Adam, that we are on. Sorry about that. And that's what we're supposed to. That's when they're going to eat. Good morning, Ralph. And the Gemara says where is the pasuk that says that they should not eat until that time, that the Torah scholars, we are on 10a3. How do the Torah scholars should not eat until the sixth hour? The Ksiv in Keheles, Ilach Eretz, woe is to the land, Shemalkech, that its king, Noar, acts like a child, Usarayech, and its princes, Baboki Yochelu, that they eat, instead of judging the people, instead of being busy judging the people, they're eating bright and early in the morning. They're not supposed to, be doing that. Rather, they're supposed to be busy helping, giving, teaching, answering questions between different litigants, different issues, different court cases at that time in the day. However, Ashrei Eretz, fortunate is a land, Shemalkech ben Chorin, that its kings, meaning its kings means its judges are free. Now, what does it mean they're free? Free means that they're not subservient to their desires. Rather, they control themselves. So fortunate is a land that had judges that are ben chorin v'sarayich, and its ministers and its princes, be'et yechelu. They eat at the right time. Not that they eat too early in the morning, not that they put their own personal self before others. They work for the community first. They're giving judgment first, and then afterwards, then they eat. Bigvura below bashti. The pasuk says, "Sarayich eit yochelu." In the pasuk says, "Bigvura below bashti." They they they're strengthening themselves with strength, not with drink. They're not going after drink. What are they doing? They strengthen themselves b'gvura shel Torah. They're strengthening themselves. They're using the time teaching Torah v'lo b'shti. They're not going ahead and not with drinking. They're not putting the drinking. They're not running after the drinking. So if we look at the pasuk in Kehelet, the Perik Yud, pasuk Tezvav, take a look at the commentary. But it's interesting. It uses the word the chorin. They're free. And we said free, we translated, they're free from their desires. They're free, they're not subjugated to their desires. We have a statement that says, Ein lecha ben chorin. There's no free person, elami she'osek b'Torah. Someone who's engaged in Torah study is considered free. Why are you considered free? Because you're in control. When you have Torah, when you're studying Torah, then you are in control of your desires. Instead of your desires, as we see many people, their desires control them. The people who study Torah, it says the pasuk Gemara says that Hashem says, "I created a evil inclination, but I created Torah to knock him out." As long as you're involved in the study of Torah, that's going to go ahead and give you the opportunity to overcome the evil inclination. Looking at the Mesuda Davir on the pasuk that we just quoted, let's see what he says. He says, Bigvura. They're engaged. You see, he translates it, the more literal translation of the pasuk is Bigvura below bishti, is the leaders of the people are involved in war. They're not, instead of being, they're not focusing on their drinking, that they're focusing on going the strength of war. But the Gemara here is saying that the Gvura below Bishti is that the leaders that are involved in the Gvura and power and strength. What Gvura are we talking about? The Gvura is the strength of Torah. That they go ahead and they are interested in putting their strength in Torah, and not. Rashi says they're involved in the strength of the wisdom and understanding, and not drinking of wine. So those are real leaders. Those are great leaders for the Jewish community. Okay, but what did somebody tell me? In Washington, they get drunk at night. They're getting drunk at night. What are they? What right? About it's like a common. It's like everybody knows that. Some people they do some votes. They're under the influence. They come out to vote certain votes at night, and they're under the influence of alcohol. Some of the people. I'm not saying all of them, but they're engaged in the iron, engaged in wine. Yeah, but the Gemara says over here, the Kohelet Shlomo Melech says, "Woe is to a nation that its leaders are focusing on the wine and not focusing on the Torah, focusing on the more important things in life." That's not a good sign when people are just drinking. Okay, if they would be drinking when there's no need to vote, it's one thing. But if they have to do votes at night, if there's certain votes that they have to be doing, they have to be a little more careful. They have to be on the total focus, not that they're on the focus of the drinking. But here, Al Gemara is saying about the leaders in the morning being involved in Torah, being involved in teaching, the judging, I'm sorry, judging cases instead of being involved with their personal focus. So the Gemara says, Tana Rabbana. Now the Gemara is going to clarify a little bit about, we said that the 6th hour is the time of, the Zman Suda for the judges. Now we're going to see more about this, but what about everybody else? Tana Rabbanan, Sha'ar Rishona, the first hour of the day, Machal Ludim. There is a country or a nation of what do you call the people who eat people, right? And these type of people, you would think these things didn't exist in a cannibalistic tribe. So this cannibalistic tribe, when did they eat? When did they have their meal? So they had their meal right when they get up in the morning. They got their meal because they were full of lust and desires. They have a big appetite. These are, I would say, crazy people, if I could use that expression, cannibalistic people. They eat people. This was going back 2,000 years ago. Nothing, I bet there are people, I don't know how many people today could get away with it, but I presume they were able to get away with it in those.
There could be
whole tribe, a whole tribe that would actually eat people. Now, and Rashi says these are people that are starving. These are people that have obviously trained themselves. How do you like that, Ralph? Crazy, right, Ralph? They trained themselves.
It's like science fiction.
Science fiction, but this is real. It's unbelievable. The Gemara is, how do you like Emmanuel? We welcome Emmanuel and Asaf. So the Gemara says the first hour of the day are the Machaludim because of their hunger, their appetite. Have they trained themselves to be so lustful in their desires? So they eat at the first opportunity. So when they get up in the morning, the first thing that they do is they eat. Shnia, the second hour of the day, is because for the robbers, Machalistim. Robbers are also, these are people that are lustful. They want things that don't belong to them. And they're also the second hour of the day, they're already eating. And why they're not eating the first hour of the day? Because they sleep. They're up most of the night stealing, doing their thievery. So they sleep like the first hour in the day. So they get up right afterwards. They get up after one of the commentators, they're up the whole night. They sleep the first hour of the day. And I presume the reason why they're up the whole night because that's great opportune time. The lights are out. I presume why they up the whole night, the thieves, because people can't see them. They think they can get away with it. They break in the middle of the night. Now their opportune time comes the morning. They can take an hour nap and then they get up to eat. These are the robbers. Shlishit, nothing has changed, by the way. Shlishit, the third hour in the day, is Machal Yoshim. People who inherited a lot of money from their family, and they don't really feel the need so much to work so much because they didn't work. They inherited a lot of money. They didn't work hard for that money. They never got into the groove of real work. And since they're not involved and they're not going out to work so much, so therefore they have the time to eat on an early end. So therefore they will eat at a third hour in the day, which most probably that's when they'll wake up. They'll wake up in the third hour of the day, which is a little late to get up 3 hours into the third hour into the day, because most people must probably get up with sunrise, with dawn, and they're getting up the third hour. Probably they get up and then they go eat. They're not getting up so early. So therefore, but even though they're not getting up so early, but that's what I'm speculating. They're getting up about 3 hours in a day, but they're eating right away. They're not going to work. They're not running after, when they get up, they go right to the breakfast room. They're not going to. Now we know we got to get up, we got to daven first. But even when we pray first, the Gemara is saying people did not go have breakfast immediately right after they prayed. From the Gemara, it seems that first they went after they prayed. Let's say many people prayed with Netzach Hama with sunrise, then they immediately went to work right afterwards, got some work in, earned some money, and then now they earned some money. Now they're ready to sit down and have a real meal. Revi'id, the fourth hour one day is Ma'achal Po'alim. The working people, according to this text, would have their meal fourth hour into the day. Chamishit, the fifth hour in the day, was Ma'achal Kol Adam. Was the Ma'achal was when everybody, people, the rest of the community, everybody would eat by this. The rest of people would eat 6 hours in the day. So the workers would eat the fifth hour into the day, and the people, everybody else, would eat, if they didn't fall into the other categories of robbers and cannibalistic people or people who inherited things, they would eat the 6 hour into the day. Aini, is that so? Papa says, the fourth hour in the day. Let's say if the day would start at 6 a.m. and then at 6 p.m. So the fourth hour would be 9 a.m. Have the breakfast at 9 o'clock in the morning. And then you got up at 6, let's say. And then, but the average person would eat at 9 o'clock, between 9 and 10 a.m. And here you're saying that the average person ate between 10 and 11. So the Gemara says, okay, you're right. Ella, the Gemara says, Revi'it Ma'achal Kol Adam. Everybody, the average person ate. If you weren't a working person, you ate the fourth hour, most probably it means like this. Even though you're not a worker, so you would have said if you're not a worker, you'll be eating early, right? You don't have to run out to work. But the answer is, if you're not lustful, if you're not running after desire, so you don't feel the need to eat breakfast most probably so early in the day, and most probably people waited a little bit or whatever, they did other things. They're not running to eat. So even though they didn't have technically work to do, or because it says Ma'achal Kol Adam. Now the question is, what does it mean? Everybody else. If you didn't fall into those categories, so it could be maybe they didn't rush. They didn't rush to eat, but by the fourth hour to the day, they already ate. And also, and the Gemara says. So the Gemara says, Ella Revi'it Ma'achal Kol Adam. Every person would eat, by people wouldn't wait. The general population wouldn't wait past 10 o'clock. So between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. they would eat. And Chamishit, the fifth hour into the day, is Ma'achal Po'alim. The workers, the people who are working, they still didn't eat so fast. They waited until the fifth hour, 10 o'clock, between 10 and 11, that's when they would eat. So the Gemara, and the Shishit, and the 6th hour into the day was Ma'achal Talmid Chachamim. The Torah scholars, they wouldn't, the first thing they would do in the morning, they got up, they prayed, and then they didn't get busy with the food. With breakfast. They would go ahead and be learning and studying and teaching and, doing that. And then they would then only after that, between 11 and 12, that's when they would eat their real breakfast, which is a real meal. The Gemara says if you eat after 12 o'clock afternoon, it doesn't give you real benefit. The food that you eat, if a guy fasts past 12 o'clock, past midday, the Gemara is saying, is like throwing a stone into a leather pouch that contains, let's say, wine. Let's say you have a leather pouch with wine, and the wine is filling up 3/4 of the pouch, okay, the bottle. Now you want to make it more full. So you want to make the bottle more full, so you throw in a stone. Now, it might look, you might have put something into the bottle, you put the stone in, but it does not, you don't have more wine as a result. There's no benefit, there's no physical benefit by the fact that you threw a stone into it. It might look bigger, but it's not adding to anything. It's not adding wine by throwing a stone in. You have the same amount of wine as before. So that's what this opinion is saying, that if you go ahead and you eat too late in the day, you ever see that when you start eating late in the day, you didn't eat until the afternoon, and you don't feel the food is doing anything for you. You don't get any nourishment. You don't feel sustained. You don't feel full from it. You still feel that hunger. You still feel that appetite. Why? Because you had to fuel the system earlier in order for it to have that impact on the system. So if you eat too late in the day, that would be the rest of the day, whatever you're eating is not gonna, it's gonna be, whatever you ate after 12 o'clock afternoon, it's like think of throwing that stone into that leather pouch of wine, which is not adding anything to the wine. That's what the Gemara says. Zoreg even lechemet. It's like throwing a stone to this leather pouch. Um, it might look like the leather pouch is full with wine, but the truth is nothing has changed. There is a different shot. There's a different explanation that when you eat too late, it's actually not only it doesn't do anything for the body, it actually is not, there's a negativity. It's harmful to the body when you eat so late in the day. So that is
We're talking about for the first time.
for the first time, right? That's the first time you're eating. If you go ahead and you tasted something in the morning, let's say you did not, you're going to have your breakfast at 1 o'clock, 12:30, when I have my breakfast. But I tasted something, I had a piece of cake in the morning, I had an egg in the morning, I had a salad, something very light, which is not really, morning, Nathan. I think the N stands for Nathan, right? But does not really do anything. If you had a little something, you had a little, like I said, salad in the morning, you had a little egg, one egg. That one egg is not breakfast. Taking one egg is not a breakfast. But the fact that you already started the system, you gave something to your system, you gave some nutrients to your system, then when you eat at 12:30, it would have positive effect. It won't be considered like throwing the stone into the leather pouch of wine. That's the lo moron of the lutamidi b'safra. That's only if you did not taste anything in the morning. But if you tasted something in the morning, let lamba. There's not a concern that the food that you can eat late after that is going to be parv, not going to add anything or be harmful technically. That it was harmful for you, but rather it will be fine. It will be beneficial if you do that. So if anytime you know you're not going to be able to eat till later in the afternoon, try to eat something in the morning, at least have a taste of something that's also going to be beneficial for you. Now, they bring down that even if you tasted something in the morning, they say it's still appropriate to have your don't delay past the 6 hour anyways, because even though we said that it's if you take something in the morning, then if you eat after the 6 hours of the day, you'll have benefits from that food that you had. But nevertheless, it's still more recommended not to go so late. Don't have breakfast. Don't have your meal. Don't have your first meal of the day past 12 o'clock. It's not recommended, even if you had a little bite in the morning, a little taste of something. And it's important to be healthy. It's important to feel people to feel nourished, and that will help them feel. You feel good, then you're able to you won't get distracted by hunger pains, and your health you'll be more healthy. Amar Rav Ada bar Abba. Now he says something very interesting. Mitpalel Adam tfilato bebeit hamechas. He says a person could technically pray in the bathhouse. Now, bathhouse we're going to see, bathhouse has 3 rooms. Rashi says in those days, they had 3 rooms for the bathhouse. They had the inside room where they actually got heated, where they sweat it up in the sauna, where they got the schwitz, where they washed, where they bathed. That's room number one. And room number two, the middle room is you go ahead, you go out from that bathing room and you go out to the middle room and you put on your clothing. And then you start getting dressed in that middle room. And then you go out, then you go out to the last of the outside room and you finish over there and you take a little and you rest up a little bit because of you're a little knocked out from all the heat from the from the bathhouse, that you sweated up and you took a schwitz, so that you rest over there a little bit in the outside room. It's interesting, the mikvah on the Lower East Side has some resemblance to this, exactly to the three chambers, because the mikvah on the Lower East Side, you have the mikvah room with the actual mikvah, which I would say, okay, it's not a wash house, but there's the actual mikvah where people are actually undressed in that room, right, where they take the dip. And right outside the mikvah is the room, is you have that little room. There happens to be a bathroom in that. No, there's no bathroom there. No. You have right outside that mikvah room is like a little room where you have a shower. Happens to be there's a shower there. But what you do in that outside room is you start getting dressed, and then there's a third room where people finish getting dressed, which is very similar to exactly what they're discussing over here. And this rabbi says you could actually pray in the Beit HaMerchas. Good morning, everybody. Now the question is, what is he referring to? Which room is he referring to in the Beit HaMerchas? So we'll have to see what he's referring to. So let's see what the Gemara. Now he does not state which room. He just says Mispalel Adam. He just says a person could pray in the bathhouse. So let's see how the Gemara addresses what he says. Meitive. Hanichnas lebeit hamerchas. If somebody goes ahead and enters the bathroom, not the bathroom, sorry, the wash house. So again, the Gemara doesn't have to explain this rabbi, because on surface he says you could go ahead and pray in the bathhouse. And he did not specify, he did not say it's only that first room that people are dressed in. He sounds like even the inner room, even the room that people actually are undressed, which obviously can't be. Obviously, how could you say that a person could go ahead and bathe and pray in a room that people are undressed? And so we have to, so that's what the Gemara is going to have to clarify. But the Gemara at this point is taking the rabbi at face value with his statement that he said that when you enter the bathhouse, you could pray. Person has a right, mitpalel adam, you could pray in that bathhouse. But the Gemara says, what do you mean? We have a braita that says, hanichnas lebeit hamerchas, someone who enters the bathhouse, when he's in the outside room, the first room, Makom shebnei adam omdim levushim. It's a place that people are dressed, right? The first room you come into, you're dressed. Yesh sham mikra utfila. Now, by the way, in the mikvah on the Lower East Side, that outside room, that first room, some people are dressed there, some people get undressed in that room. Okay, but here the Gemara is saying that this is a place that the outside room, people would be dressed. Yesham mikra utfila. I mean, we said before people finish their dressing, right? Here the Gemara says they're actually dressed, so you could actually read the Kriya Shema. Morning Asaf. You could read the Kriya Shema in that room, that outside room. Utfila, you can even pray. Let's say it's time for mincha, and you're by the Beit HaMerchas, and it's mincha time. You don't want to miss mincha. So you could technically pray in that outside room according to this Gemara. And the Ein Tzarech Lomar She'elet Shalom. And you could also say Shalom Aleichem. You could ask someone, you could ask the Shalom, the welfare of your friend, even though the word Shalom is one of the names of Hashem. So Shalom has a holiness to say when you say Shalom Aleichem to somebody, since it's one of the names of Hashem. and you're allowed to say Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Adam. How you doing? How's everything? You know, we know a lot of business deals goes down. The joke is a lot of business deals go down in the mikveh. You know, what I mean, people come the mikveh, they're talking, and they're in that room, they're getting ready to go before they get into the mikveh. I mean, whatever, all the news, of the world is happening in the mikveh, so to speak. So the men are discussing world events. So makom shebnei odom omdim. So in that place, if you could pray there, if you could pray there, certainly could go ahead and say shalom aleichem to somebody. Umeniach tefillin. You can actually put on your tefillin in that outside room. The ein sarach loman. Certainly, if you came in with your tefillin on, you don't have to take them off. Meaning, there are times we're going to find situations that maybe, there's differences between putting on your tefillin or taking off your tefillin. But here we're going to say you could even put on your tefillin, and certainly you don't have to take off your tefillin. Now, if you get to the middle room where we say Mokom shebnei adam omdim arumim levushim, some people are actually not dressed in that middle room. That's the room that you come out of. That's the room that when you come out of the bathhouse, you enter that middle room and you start getting dressed there. So some people, some of them are not yet. They come in not dressed, but you're also some people are already dressed because they already got dressed. So some people are there dressed and not dressed. Yesham she'ela shalom. In that room that people are also dressed in, obviously it would seem like to me that the innermost room, which is the actual bathhouse room, no one's dressed in that room. That's like a shower room. Nobody's dressed. But if you go ahead and once you enter the middle room, where some are dressed, some are not dressed, so we say Yesham Sheila Shalom. You could say Shalom Aleichem to somebody. Obviously, that person is dressed that you're saying Shalom Aleichem to. The Ein Sham Mikra Tefillah. But it's not appropriate in that type of room where some people are not dressed, that regularly are not dressed, that room, and then that which is meaning this is a room, that type of room, you should not read the Kriya Shema or pray. You shouldn't read the Shema in such a room, and you shouldn't pray your mincha, whatever you need to pray in the shachrit in that room. You don't pray in that room. But the einachol that's tefillin. But if you came in with your tefillin on, you can leave your tefillin on. You don't have to remove your tefillin because it's not really a room that everybody's undressed. A lot of people are dressed as well in this room. The eina miniach lechatchila. But you should not put on your tefillin in the room. If you didn't put on tefillin yet that day, make sure put on in the outside room, first room. Don't put it in the middle room. But but technically you can walk in with your tefillin into that room if you're already wearing the tefillin. Now, but the makom shebnei adam umarumim, the place that people stay, the inside room that people stand undressed. So that room, Ein Sham Sheila Shalom, you can't even say Shalom Aleichem to somebody. You can't say Shalom to you because that you Shalom is like what we said is one of Hashem's names. When people are undressed, Ein Sham Sheila Shalom, you can't say Shalom Aleichem. The Ein Sarach Loma, for sure, if you can't say Shalom Aleichem, certainly you can't Tefillah Mikra, Tefillah, you can't say Kriya Shema, you can't pray. V'choleitz Tefillin. And you have to take off your tefillin. If you came in with the tefillin on, you can't keep your tefillin on in that room. You must remove your tefillin. If you have to take them off, certainly you can't put your tefillin on. So that's the Gemara's question. So we see clearly that you can't pray in a bathhouse. Now the only thing is, there's one room that says you could pray, the outside room, the first room. So maybe the Rav Ada who says you could pray is referring to that room. It's true. The middle room and the inside room, you can, the middle and the innermost room, you can't pray. But maybe he's referring to the outside room when he says you're allowed to pray. But so one of the commentators say he did not specify. He says you could pray in the bathhouse. He didn't say only the first room. So that's the Gemara's contradiction. So the Gemara says, you know what? Kama Rav Ada bar Abba, the Gemara suggests one approach that one wanted to say. He's talking about the Mecha She'en Bo Bnei Adam. He's talking when nobody's there. You know, if let's say you come into the bathhouse and nobody's there, so and everybody and nobody, it's empty, right? Everybody went home. Well, you came early enough that nobody's there. So since nobody's there, he says that's where you could pray there. So the Gemara says, but that's not true. Even if there's nobody there, because the fact that since it's designated for such use, it's not respectful. You can't pray in such a place, even if nobody's there. It's like a bathroom. You can't pray in a bathroom, even if there's nothing dirty in the bathroom, but it's a bathroom. Same thing. Even if there's no bowel movement, even if there's no excrement in the bathroom, you can't pray in a bathroom because it's a dirty place. The place designated for this type of activity, so it's not appropriate to pray in such a place. The Gemara says something about a new bathhouse. We just built a new bathhouse. And even though this room is going to be used for people's undress in this room, this actual room, people are going to be undressed. But since they did not use it yet, they just built it. So that's not considered a problem to go ahead and what? According to this, now we'll see. The Gemara is going to ask the question: would that be the same halacha by a bathroom? If you have a new bathroom and no one used it yet, the construction, would that be the same? The Gemara is going to discuss this. Stay tuned. More about this for tomorrow. I want to wish everyone a beautiful day. Thank you all for joining. Right, you heard some interesting stuff today. You heard about the cannibalistic tribe. You heard about these crazy people that people full of desires. Unbelievable. Have a great day, everybody.
I'll see you tomorrow in person.
Wow, that's great. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Looking forward.
Who goes to bathhouses anyway? I don't know. Is this? I never been to one.
But if you look, the Russians go all the time, and if you look on the Lower East Side, you look on you look on Allen Street. There's the old bathhouse. I mean, 100 years ago there was bathhouses.
Okay, I don't know who has time.
Okay. And now Adam says it's a trendy thing with the bathhouses.
Yeah.
They're bringing them back.
Exactly.
Okay.
Hey, adios, guys.
The yuppies are there. Okay. Have a great day, everybody.